audio is better. This is the second time I'm doing this, um, making this recording because the audio is horrible. It usually is, but it was worse than usual. So I'm just going to try to talk really loud and really close to the microphone. Um, so this message is for those of you that um, feel like you're just not worthy, just not worthy. And I'm talking about it's in a way where you feel as though you don't measure up. Um, it's like, who would ever want me, that type of thing. You just don't feel worthy. No matter how much you soup yourself up to, try to affirm yourself. And God just wants you to know, God just wants you to know that it doesn't matter what everyone else says. It doesn't even matter what you say. It matters what God says. And this is the word he gave to me this morning. He said, I called you out of Egypt. They said that you were less than, but I say that you're more than enough. And so it could be whatever situation you're going through. You know, um, as a child growing up, all of us, most of us, 99% of us, as a child growing up, there's some sort of trauma that you go through as a child. And, I always say no one leaves childhood unscathed. You could have had perfect parents, but then, someone really close in the family, pass away or whatever. And, even if nothing ever, no traumatic event ever happened to you in childhood, you live long enough as an adult, you'll go through some things. And a lot of these things, not always, but a lot of these things attack your psyche, attack your self esteem, beat you down in a way, especially if it's a sustained type of trauma. And I'm talking more about, it could be physical, but I'm talking more about, the constant barrage of negativity, negative comments, even in society, maybe, just watching something on TV where you see everyone on TV doesn't look like you. Everyone seems to have, especially, young women, everyone seems to have a perfect body, perfect complexion, perfect face, you know, and we're constantly assessing and measuring ourselves up to what we feel as though the standard is. And which is, you know, that's a whole thing I could talk on for hours about. But this could be for, anybody who has um, just been told that they're not enough, you know, just been told that, whether from their parents, whether from a spouse, you know, it could be anything. And you can even get it from, as a child growing up in the school system, the negativity from your peers and even from teachers, you know. Um, it beats you down to the point where you just, after a while, you hear that stuff enough. You hear that stuff enough, you feel as though you don't measure up, that you're not worthy, that you're not you're not a candidate for love, because, like, who would ever want you? Because you have this narrative in your head that you're not good enough. So God is saying He's called you out of Egypt, whatever that negative situation was where you were constantly being barraged by that. He's called you out. He's removed you from that situation, however it went down. Whether you left the situation, whether you just grew up and you're 18 now and you're on your own, whatever it was, God removed you from the situation. So you came out of Egypt. Egypt represents bondage. But when you came out of Egypt, didn't mean that
you didn't carry with you.
all of that trauma, all of that trauma with you. And so, just like the Israelites, when they came out of Egypt, they carried everything that negative and positive. They carried everything with them. What they've been taught. They didn't believe that they could, make it on their own. They didn't believe that, um, they didn't. The other part of it is that they didn't believe that God um, was enough. So God is saying to you that, He's pulled you out of Egypt. He's pulled you out of the physical bondage, whatever that situation is. Um, but now you have to trust and believe that He's going to be the one to continue to write your story. To that God has a plan, that um, you are worthy of love. You are worthy of respect. You are worthy of that you're more than enough for these plans that He has for you. Because, when God starts to show you the things that He has for you,
It goes against
everything that negative, um, that negative, repeating narrative in your head. So you have this wonderful plan that God has for you, and then you have your mind that keeps playing. Well, you can't do that.
how can you do that?
You know where you came from. You know what they said about you. And it's
Clashing
clashing
against.
against itself. It's clashing, and so God is saying you gotta let go of what they said about you. You gotta let go of what they told you. Don't believe what they say. Whose report you gonna believe? As they say.
You're going to believe what these people have said about you.
You know, people may be dead, long gone, but their narrative is still stuck in your head. And God is saying, just release that to Him. Release
That
that
negative narrative.
narrative to Him, and hold on to what He's saying about you. And today He's saying that He's made you more than enough. You're more than enough. You are enough. Not just enough, but you're more than enough to be able to meet the challenge, or to be able to meet, to be worthy of being loved. That you're more than enough to be
The mother.
to the children that you have. You're more than enough to be the father to the children that you have. Whatever it is, you're more than enough to step into that career. You're more than enough to go back to college. You know, but God, has been 20 years, and they said I'm horrible at math. That's what my teacher told me when I was in third grade. You know, God is saying you got this. It might take you a little bit longer. It might take you to study more, harder than the rest of the people in the class. But you got this. God is saying you're more than enough. So, and God, and who knows you more better than who knows you? God knows you. He made you. He knows what you need.
He knows. So,
God bless you. I love you. And I hope you can hear this. So